Hey everybody, welcome to BBQ Live. I'm Daniel Mosnet with Cowboy Charcoal, and we have got a hot one for you today. Now, we're making what I call a backyard barbecue paella. If you're a chef, if you're someone from Spain, Portugal, it's probably not paella, but we're cooking rice with a bunch of different things inside of it on the grill. So today, I'm calling it paella. We have some fantastic shrimp. We've got clams, we've got Compart Duroc bacon, so good. We're also gonna use some of our Jack Daniel's whiskey chips. I just wanna show you those as they go in, and these are the real deal. You can see the black parts on there. That's the char from the actual whiskey barrel. We just take the whiskey barrels, we send them through the chipper, and man, that smells like whiskey. I'd like to have a glass of that right now. All right, so we're just gonna add a few chips right on top just so it starts to smoke. We've got a nice ash on our briquettes. We're using Cowboy charcoal. We have a few garlic and onion briquettes in there that I've used a few times. We've got our lump charcoal in there as well. So how about this? Let's get cooking. Let's put our grate down. We'll slide our pot over. And here's a trick for you guys. Just go out and get a cloth glove, and you can put your plastic glove right over the top of it. If your fire's really hot, you'll still feel the heat, but it allows you to go an extra 15, 20 degrees when you're touching something. So that's a little bit of a trick that a lot of the barbecue pit masters use, and I stole from them. So as we are heating up here, we'll throw in our butter. You can use olive oil. I tend to not make things healthy in terms of fattening. So I'm gonna use butter. You can use olive oil or grapeseed oil, whatever you like. Grab my spoon. We'll get this butter nice and melted. And as that is melting, we will add a little bit of fresh minced garlic, some shallots. Let those go a little bit. And then we'll add our onions to that once these have taken off. Now all of this is gonna be done right over the grill today. A lot of pieces, a lot of steps, a lot of ingredients, but they're all really simple. Nothing in here is all that complicated. Oh, and that smell, you've got the garlic and onion smell of the briquettes. You've got the garlic and shallots, soon to be onion smell that you're cooking here. You're gonna light up your backyard, and your neighbors, they are gonna be jealous, I'll tell you that. So we got a little bit of chopped onion, and now we'll just saute through that for a little bit. Once these start to turn, then I'm gonna add my bacon. So you can add your bacon at the beginning if you don't wanna use the butter. I like to add my bacon a little bit later because I don't want it to get real crispy as it's cooking. You can see inside that our onions, depending on the size of your mince or your dice or your chop, the onions will take a little bit more or a little bit less time to cook. So usually you want to put this on for about 2 minutes or so. That's about all you need. Now we're gonna add our bacon. Everything tastes just a little bit better with bacon, especially Compart Duroc bacon. This is that bacon that we make our pork belly burn ends from. But this is a great backyard summertime dish. It's a great fall dish. You can make this in the big paella pans and just set the big pan right in the middle of the table, and that's the entire dinner for your family style meal. But that's it, guys. We're just sauteing a little bit. Make sure all of your vents are open in your grill. We're using the ceramic grill today. You could do this on the pit barrel cooker. You could do this on your char grill or offset. You just want to make sure you get a lot of heat going. You can see our smokes coming up from those chips that we put in. Okay, once we start cooking, we don't want to brown it, right? We don't really want it nice and browned. We want it just sauteed. Okay, so now that we have sauteed all of this, our onions are translucent, our bacon is starting to cook. You can see that starting to change color. Now we're gonna add our rice. We're just gonna coat our rice. We've got about a cup of rice. It's about how much we're gonna put in there. Typically you want 1 to 1.5 rice to liquid, or 2. Just depends on how much liquid you've got coming off from the bacon, how much liquid you have coming off from your saffron broth, and then how much liquid you'll put in as this continues to cook. Remember, as you're smoking this and you've got the smoke coming up, you'll lose a lot more of the liquid that you put in there, so you may need to add a little bit more. Just have a little extra with you, add as you go, add a little bit more as you need it. And your pan will tell you if you need more liquid in it or not. Okay, we're just stirring that up just a little bit more. Typically about 2 or 3 minutes until it starts to turn golden brown. Just let it cook. We want to get it all covered. You want all of those fats from the butter and from the bacon. You want all those fats to coat each piece of rice. That's where you're getting all of that flavor. Make sure you stir down the sides so you don't have anything sticking up too high. If it's sticking up too high, then that'll get crispy sooner than the other pieces will get crispy. You might think I have a lot of room left in my pan. Well, your rice is gonna expand, and we've got a ton of shrimp, we've got sausage, we've got clams, we've got large clams to put in there, tomatoes. Okay, now we're starting to get a little bit sticky on the bottom. So now it's just about time to add a little bit of white wine, and we'll stir that in until it's absorbed. There we go. That's the sound you're looking for. And just keep stirring it in. And as that keeps going, now we're about ready to put in our saffron broth. Once the saffron broth is in there, it'll take about 15 minutes or so to cook. So for the saffron broth, we just took some strands of saffron, soaked them here in a little bit of chicken broth, and look at that color. That color is gonna really enhance the flavor of our dish. And I think we need to add just a little bit more liquid here. So like I said before, if you want to make sure you have a little extra liquid, it'll all cook out, especially here on the grill. So now we've got our rice cooking, nice even layer. Gonna put that in. We're gonna close the top here for a few minutes. So as that's cooking, we'll talk a little bit about how we're gonna do our tomatoes and how we're gonna do our shrimp and clams, okay? So for the clams, right? What do you want to make sure on the clams? You want to make sure that the clams aren't open when you get them, that they're clean around the outside. You might want to scrub them off just to make sure that there's no sand or dirt or anything like that, because this is going to go right in your pan. So you want them nice and clean as you'd eat them. On the little neck clams, same thing. You want to make sure that none of them are open or opening. And if you've got a little bit of the clam sticking out on the side, you can just cut that off. You can see that it's nice and closed all the way around. For our shrimp, so I wanted this to look good. So we took a skewer, we put it right in the shrimp, and we're just gonna put that on the grill directly. Put a little bit of oil on it so they don't burn, but we're gonna grill those, and then we're just gonna put these shrimp right across the top. We did the same thing with our tomatoes. We're gonna roast those right on the grill on a nice big skewer, and then we're just gonna slide those right off. So we have a nice presentation. You always want to consider your presentation and what that looks like. There you go. You can see we're bubbling here. You can see that our rice is starting to thicken. Okay, so as this gets going, let's add our tomatoes. Let's add the big one. See if we can fit it on the grill. We'll add our tomatoes. Then we'll add some of our shrimp. Season everything, season as you go. Keep a clean hand if you can. All right. Okay, so we'll put these right on the grill. However many we have room for. And we can move them to the hotter side of the grill if they're not done when we're ready to bring the paella, but this is gonna look great. We'll put, let's see, maybe four of those guys on there. All right, 5. And you want these, look, you want these nice long, look how long that is. You just drape that right across the paella when it's done. Will look good, I'm telling you. Okay, so as this is cooking, give that a nice little stir. And at this point, there's a lot of different directions you can go. You can add chicken. It's very popular. Chicken and sausage is good. We're gonna add sausage to it here. We're gonna add that now so the sausage and the fat in the sausage kind of gets into our rice and continues to cook. We'll add about that much. And stir it in again. This is such an easy thing to do, and it takes a little bit of time so you can have your friends come out and enjoy the backyard so you're not just sitting out there cooking by yourself. Have everybody come out, pour them a glass of wine, sit around the fire, get yourself a big paella pan or a big cast iron pan like this, and enjoy the time that you can spend with family and friends. Okay, so that's going. We'll let that simmer down there for a little bit, and we'll let this cook off. Make sure we've got those in there. Okay, and then we'll let those cook off. So let's talk a little bit about what we're cooking over today. So garlic and onion briquettes. You've seen me use those several different times. There are a bunch of recipes with garlic and onion briquettes. But we're taking about 15% of actual granulated garlic and onion, putting them in the briquette specifically, so you get all of those beautiful smells. They smell fantastic. We're also cooking over pecan chunks. I'm really into cooking over wood right now. You can see these chunks. They're nice, big, meaty chunks. And those are gonna give us fantastic heat, a great heat source. They're gonna give us nice smoke and a good smoke flavor. So pecan chunks, and then as you saw, I added the Jack Daniel's barrel chips. And those Jack Daniel's barrel chips, man, they smell fantastic. Like I said before, it's just Jack Daniel's barrel wood that has been used to age the Jack Daniel's whiskey, and it's just chopped up. See how we're doing? You can see that our sausage is starting to cook. Our rice is getting thicker. Might want to add just a little bit more liquid. It'll all absorb, and that rice will thicken up just a little bit more. I'm gonna add some additional shrimp right to the pot itself. Probably about that much. And let's mix those in a little bit. Those will keep cooking. So you got sausage, you got bacon, you got your rice, you got your saffron, shrimp's in there. These shrimp are starting to cook. It looks like it's a little hotter in the back. We'll flip those. We actually might want to take our shrimp and put them on the warmer side of the grill. So we'll just move these right over to that side, because we've got some more seafood to put on here. Move those back there. We want our tomatoes to blister. Once you get that blister, then you can just slide those off and put them right in the paella dish itself. Yeah, and I don't know if you can hear that crackle, but that's really what we're looking for. We're looking for our rice to start crackling. Once we start crackling, then you know we're getting ready. You can see these shrimp cook pretty fast once we move them over to the heat side. And this is something fun to do. You know, they're still in the shell. Gives your guests something to do, get dirty a little bit. All right, now we're gonna add some of our large clams. Look at these, look at the size of those. We'll just put those right on the grill. They'll open up on their own. And when they open, they're ready. And we'll just put those right inside the paella itself. Nice and open. Look at that. Get this guy over here. He's missing out on all the fun. Okay, we'll shut this down, let this cook for a few minutes. Show you what it looks like when it comes out. And now to top everything off, you can put some tomatoes on the side. You can add some parsley. Let me change my gloves here. Add some nice chopped parsley. We'll chop that up right now so it's ready to go on the top. And then we'll just put it in a nice little white platter, and that's easy as that. So you want a nice simple little chop of your parsley. It'll just go right on top of your plate. I'll plate this out for you so you can see what it looks like. But typically you would serve this family style. This is an absolute family style dish. Ooh, I can smell that. Yep. Give those a flip. I can see them start to bubble inside there already. They're heavy. Each one of these is about a pound or so. That's a heavy clam. All right, these guys are getting pretty close to done. You want that char. You want that nice char right on the outside. Yeah, those are looking good. Let's check on our tomatoes way over here. So let's take a look at these. So you can see these tomatoes, you can see how they're starting to blister. They're starting to blister right there, right there. That's what you want specifically. You want a nice little blistered tomato. Once you get all of your tomatoes that are well blistered, you don't have to do this step. But once you get them all that are blistered, then you can just slide this right into the dish itself. So we'll crank those up a little bit more. So we'll give this a nice big stir. And I'm working on a 2-zone fire here. That way I make sure I always have a spot where I can rest the food. We're starting to stick on this side, so we'll give it a quick little spin. That's hot. I didn't have my little glove on anymore. So we'll let this simmer down a little bit. That rice is about cooked. So now at this point, all we have to do is make sure that everything else is up to temperature and we're ready to go. I'm gonna add a little bit more white wine and maybe even a little bit more chicken stock to this because we're starting to dry out a little bit, and that's definitely something that we don't want to have happen. And a little extra white wine never hurt anybody, right? Yeah, I think we're about done. This big guy, those are about done. These little ones are getting done. They'll continue to cook while they're in the pan, so we're just gonna plop those off. We're gonna put those right in. I think we need some more. I think we need some more tomatoes. So let's grab about 4 more of these. We've got some little ones. I was gonna use this for garnish right before we go and eat. But we'll use this to cook on, okay? Our shrimp, those are getting done. Look at that. So we'll put those onto the cooler side of the grill, and we'll just let those kind of sit there for a little bit. Probably gonna coat those with a little white wine as well to keep them nice and moist. You don't wanna dry out your shrimp. So we'll just stack those right in the back. Those are done and ready to go. Grab our white wine, and we'll just coat that right over the top. Stay nice and moist. Okay, so while those are cooking, we'll arrange our tomatoes a little bit. We'll keep those going. And you can see our clams are starting to open. You want them to open a lot more than this, but you can see them starting to open. When we started, these were shut tight, right? They were shut tight like that. Now as they're cooking, they're starting to open up. You just want this to open all the way, and then they're ready to put right on top of the dish. So we'll let those keep going. Probably close this down for another couple of minutes. Pull these right over to the fire. A little bit of juice popping there. Our fire's really going. We've got good coals. Our paella is just about ready. I'm gonna shut this down just for a few more minutes. I wanna squeeze those guys in there. Just for a few more minutes. We'll let that cook for probably about another 10 minutes or so to make sure that we're nice and done. Make sure our area is nice and cleaned down so we're ready to go as soon as that paella is done. This is a great dish. And a lot of folks do this a little bit more in the springtime. You can do this in the fall when the weather's getting, not too hot, not too cold outside. This is a perfect time of year. So wood chunks. I've had a couple of questions come in about wood chunks. Where do they come from? How are they made? So let's talk about that right now. These are pecan wood chunks. And you can see that there's nothing extra done to these chunks. It's just the wood comes in from the field. We work with a lot of farmers that bring in their trees to us when they've either decided to transplant or plant a new orchard. So they bring that product into us, and we put it on our mills, we put it in our saws, and we just cut right through it. You can see the bark right there from the outside. We don't debark this product. You can see the bark there right on the outside. You can see the cut lines right through it here. So we take this, we cut it, we put it into nice chunks, and then we put it through the kiln, and we try to take as much moisture out of it as we can. Let me grab a few more. You'll see that in a bag, so here's just kind of a random grab. So you'll see that in the bag, you've got all different sizes, right? All different sizes of chunks. Some with the bark on it, some from the inside of the tree, some without the bark on it at all. But they're all kiln dried to the same level. So whether you get your chunks in North Carolina, Texas, California, it doesn't matter. You're always gonna have the same consistency because they're all dried to the same levels. They're gonna burn quickly, they're gonna ignite fast. You can use this for charcoal. If you don't wanna use charcoal, you can just cook right from here, which I've been doing a lot more of lately. Or you can use charcoal and just add a few of those just for the smokes, up to you, however you like your smoke. All right, speaking of smoke, let's see where we're at. Whoa. Yeah, you can see our clams. Man, our clams are really lighting up. Yeah, this looks awesome. Can't wait to dive in. We haven't really added too much salt. We've got a lot of salt in the bacon that we've put on. Get some more of these tomatoes in there. We've got some salt that are gonna come out of the clams. Boy, these are just slipping right off. Let's see. You can see that we're nice and charred here, right? Nice and charred, nice and bubbly. We're just gonna drop those right inside. Oh, that one's actually perfect. Look at that. Nice and charred. Okay, we'll put those inside. Got one more straggler out here. I'll show you what this clam looks like. So the clams, now that they're just about done, we want to try to save some of this juice too. That's really good flavor. But that's what that clam looks like. Now that it's nice and done and opened up, it's fully cooked and ready to go. So we'll add that right to the pot. All right. This guy looks like it needs to go a little bit more. That one needs to go a little bit more. We're also gonna add a few of the little neck clams right to the paella. Probably should have done this a few minutes ago, but that's all right. Add all the rest of our larger clams back. Those little necks they'll take about 5 minutes or so to cook and start to open up. Now we're gonna put this back on the hot side, right? We're really gonna cook this up now. Add a little bit more white wine so it'll help those clams steam out a little bit. Add them right into the clams, right over the top. Starting to dry out a little bit, so that's why we're adding a little bit more white wine. And like I said before, when we first started, you may decide that you need a little bit more liquid. That's fine. Go ahead and add a little bit more liquid. You can use that with wine. You could do it with chicken stock. You could add a little bit more of your saffron broth, whatever you like, but just keep an eye on it. And your pot will tell you if you need to add more liquid or if you need to add any more butter or any more sausage. If it looks like you need to add some more, then add some more. If it looks like you need to add a little bit more onions, you like that flavor, or garlic, then add some more. I like a little extra garlic and chives. Beautiful. So we'll let this cook through here, and then I'm gonna plate one for you so you can see what it looks like with all the pieces. Everything's boiling. Get those little clams. Boy, that looks awesome. See, and we did it here in what, 20 minutes? Oh yeah, you can see our clams after they were in there just for a few minutes. It doesn't take long with these little guys. You can see after a few minutes, those are nice and opened up, cooked all nicely all the way through. All right, let's see what this looks like once we get it all put in. Look at that. We've got rice, we got our shrimp, we got our sausage, tomatoes. Add maybe 2 of these guys. Let's add our grilled shrimp right on top of that. Man, this is good. Holy cow. Crew's eating good today. Add a few of those on there. Let's get one more of these clams. There we go. A couple more of those guys in there. This is a treat. And there you have it. We've got our barbecue paella. Simple as that. You got your big clams, all your shrimp, your tomatoes, sausage. Man, that is a treat for anybody as they come to your house and sit in your backyard and have dinner. Great family style food for you to cook with your family. There's a million recipes online. Go ahead and find one. Use some of the Jack Daniel's whiskey chips, Cowboy garlic and onion briquettes. It's been a fun one to do with you guys. Thanks everybody for watching. I'm Daniel Mosnet with Cowboy Charcoal. See you next time.